I'm David Stark, the developer of Airships Conquer the Skies, and I want to show off to you this new feature the game has, which is combat replays. So whenever you do a fight, you can afterwards go into the replays section and play back and have a look at it and analyze what's going on and so on. And one thing which I want to show off here in particular is that what you can do is what I'm about to do, which is do a commentary video on a fight. So the fight's happened and this is a recording of it, and now we can kind of go through it bit by bit and I can analyze what's actually happening, which will hopefully be interesting. And I'm doing this, as I said, to encourage people to do this as well and to give their own commentary on other people's fights, which should be pretty cool, I think. So this is a fight that happened 1 or 2 days ago between Dageo and Commander Straker, and we're going to start out by just looking at each side in this fight. Yes, you can actually turn the UI for this stuff on and off with F2, but I'm leaving it on for now, just so you can also see what it looks like. So starting out on the left side, we have a whole bunch of airships. We have this group of 3 ships here, which are all the same design, and these are boarding ships, it seems. So you can see they've just got your basic suspendium chamber and engine and coal and so on, but they have a huge number of marines in here. These are all marine barracks, so they will be able to board using those marines. And they also have a whole bridge, which is a pretty big command center for a ship this size. But that makes sense because, well, you need to be able to command them around and move them around pretty quickly so you can actually catch the ship you're boarding. That works pretty well. One thing I would like to point out for boarding ship, which is sort of suboptimal here, is that these boarders, they have to go out of the ship first, and in order to go out of the ship, they have to get through these hatches here, which are on the far side, which means that the crew will have to walk to the back of the ship, get out and walk to the front again and jump onto the enemy, which, yeah, so it might have been better to put those hatches here at the front, but it's not a big deal. So what else have we got on the left side? We've got these ships here. So these 2 are the same, and then we've got 2 specific ones. So these here are equipped with acid spray weapons. This is like the nearest weapon in the arsenal. So basically it's just a big tank of acid, which is sort of, it's like, imagine a giant metal turkey baster that fires acid, right? Thanksgiving just happened, so you know that will probably give you terrible nightmares if you're American. So yeah, giant turkey baster of death. What they do is they just explode acid, and this acid does quite a lot of damage, but it's not very accurate. So it's kind of a short-range weapon that's very good at penetrating through heavy armor. And so it's a useful thing to have in your fleet configuration. It's maybe not the best way of dealing massive damage or something like that, but it's certainly good so you have something to punch through heavy armor. So there's 2 of those. These look pretty nice. Very pretty shape with that big suspending crystal there in the middle. Then here we've got like a small kind of generic looking ship. My guess is, oh, it's a bomber here. It's got some bombs, it's got some front-firing guns. My guess is sort of this was the leftovers bit, like there were a few points left and this was like the best ship that fit in, so this one got added. But it's a decent looking, you know, small warship. And then here we have like the big warship, which, yeah, it's got, that's sort of your standard ship of the line type thing. It just has a whole bunch of cannons firing forward. It's also got this sort of superstructure here with some air defense type stuff, so to prevent it from being attacked by bombers. I guess its service ceiling isn't super high. It's pretty close to the ground, so it does want something to defend against the air. Yeah, so that looks pretty decent as well. Lots of ammo reserves, which is good. Okay, so that's the left side. Right side, we have 2 ships. Well, a ship and a land ship. So we've got this thing here, which is a rammer/flamer type ship. So as you can see, it's got a whole bunch of ramming bows, And then it's got flamethrowers in between there. So the idea clearly is, and some grape shot cans and so on. So the idea is clearly to sort of slam into the enemy and then you burn them. To do that, it also has a whole bunch of propellers, including this tiny one. So it's really optimized for, just being able to punch into the enemy and then burn them. But that comes at quite a price. It's like, it's for a ship. You have this huge number of suspendium chambers, which you need because you have these massively heavy keels. And in between the keels and the suspendium chambers and everything, this is a very expensive ship. It doesn't, if you can ram enemies with it, that can be very effective. But on the other hand, if that fails, well, you're just sort of out of luck, So the immediate weakness this thing has is that if the enemies are above its service ceiling, it just can't ram them and then it will lose. And the other land ship we have here is basically a train. So this is like a train of death, trademark, with a whole bunch of carriages and so on, which is pretty cute. So here at the front one, the locomotive bit, we've got some turrets, and we actually have a torpedo launcher. So this will fire aerial torpedoes sort of against other land ships. And then in the second carriage, we have a whole bunch of flak. So and then here again, the third carriage, which is, I think, identical in layout. So these are like two flak carriages. And then here finally, this one's a bit weird. This is just the keel carriage. Because keels increase the amount of hit points of a construction overall. If you put them somewhere, they will do that. And it's a bit weird because the keel's not really connected to anything. It's just this dead weight that's now magically increasing the weight of the land ship. It's also increasing the weight, but increasing the hit points of the land ship. But that works. Oh, look, there's a cat. Hi, cat. Okay, so let's get started here. Let's see what happens. So okay. So I'm just going to pause after these, 6 first seconds. We have these ships firing down here. That's going pretty well. But we've got a sort of a problem here because the top ship of these three boarders is already pretty damaged, pretty on fire, and in particular, its suspendium chamber, which you can just about see here, is very low on hit points already. So if that suspendium chamber breaks, it will fall on the other ships and it will really hinder them in actually getting to board anything. So it's kind of a danger of putting ships in these really close formations. If you have a whole stack of enemy ships, if you shoot the top one and it falls on all the other ones, then you just end up with this immobile tower of ships. So, don't do that then. Let's carry on. Apparently they've just been set to ram into there to make sure, I guess, that they contact and that they can jump over. And that, of course, has also been set to ram because that's what it does. So they're just going to smash at each other at high speed. And you can even see the flamethrowers have started to fire, but the shots are slower than the ship. So it's just sort of firing flames past it as it's accelerating towards its target. And down here we just have the train with its flak guns and its turrets and so on, having a firefight against these ships. There's not that much. It's still fairly early. They're just shooting at each other. Sadly, the train doesn't have anything which it can shoot with its torpedo because the torpedo has a very kind of narrow cone of fire. Well, maybe something will fall down eventually and they will have something to shoot at. So we're gonna, I think, see a pretty big bang here in a moment. Bonk. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's a big bang. So because this ship is so much heavier, it's just sort of pushed those back and I'm going to be very curious to see if any of them managed to actually board. Oh yes, they managed. So we're quote unquote on the left side, so this boarding indicator is from our point of view. Oh no. And these guys here, they tried to jump but they missed their target, so now, yeah. Oh well, okay, that was lucky. That was incredibly lucky. They fell down, but they landed, possibly even survived, I can't tell yet. They landed on that ship, and they may still be alive. But now, okay, now those ships are... So, you're trying to jump over to board the enemy ship, you miss your jump, you land on another friendly ship, and you're like, okay, I'm fine. Seconds later, the ship you jumped off in the first place lands on top of you. Yeah, so that's not great. And in fact, all of these are now kind of pushing this this big ship down. So the left side now has this huge problem that basically are, well, they have their boarding ships are sort of have fallen onto their main fleet and are dragging everything down. Meanwhile, we have these acid spitters who've ended up on this side of the fight and are now being rammed, well, or pushed by the ramming ship. And as you can see, the boarders, there's not enough of them. Yeah, they're having a little firefight here, and that was it. The last boarder's been shot. So that didn't work very well. Oh, it's a playback divergence. Oh well, probably no biggie. Still working on getting those sorted out. And yeah, over here, everything's now catching fire and everything is horrible. Really horrible. Yeah, this ship is just exploding. It's broken into half. It's being flamed. Yeah. This one has... No, it's still moving. It's just gone down to attack. Oh, and yeah, this one's exploding now. Yeah, so by this point the left side basically has one functioning... it's basically one functioning ship left. Just this one here. And that's the one that's currently, you know, being exploded at repeatedly. And yeah, now it's lost one of its guns. And I think it's lost its engine as well, so it won't be able to move around. But it's still firing, it's still firing. And yeah, that was a very nice shot, that was beautiful. It just hit that turret, and now that turret's, yeah. So that was, you know, that was a small victory. It's just being dragged along and taking these acid shots. And over here, well, this small ship here in the middle still has some little bits left, but yeah, and that's the remainder of that big warship that's just completely gone now. And indeed, so is that acid ship. So by now, the right side is pretty much warm. Left side's just on fire. What's left is, well, technically speaking, this ship still just about maneuverable if it wasn't stuck onto something. Same with this one, but yeah, they still have a cannon. Look at them. Yeah, they've still got a cannon. They're shooting. Yeah. So much for that. And now they're dying. They still have one cannon. That's not going to survive for very long. And yeah, they're just happy. They're just flaming away. And there we go. I think left side surrendered kind of reasonably. So yeah, there we are. This is Airships fight. As you can see, there's quite a lot of things that explode and quite a lot of details to look at. I hope you enjoyed this little commentary. I'm happy to do more. If you have a fight that you did that you'd like me to comment on, you know, you can export the replay and you can email it to me, and I'm happy to talk about it. For now, I think that is all. Let's just look at the... Yeah, the train survived. The train survived. It lost its hit point carriage thing, but the other carriages are more or less intact. Everything else... Yeah, the left side really... I actually thought the left side would win. I really thought the left side would win. But... yeah, things just went wrong pretty much immediately because they had this big vertical stack of ships, which ended up being... kind of falling on top of one another. And that basically is what spelled their doom. If they had a different configuration, like for example, if they had some long range bombing ships or something, they probably could have just avoided this thing and taken it out. Well, it's actually a pretty good combination in a way, because like against this you want like bombers, but then this is strong against bombers. It's got all of this flak stuff. So if they could have taken this out and like avoided this flak or been resilient enough against it or something, then that could have worked. But as it stands, well, yeah. Right. Thanks for watching. Let's just look at the peaceful balloon together. The peaceful balloon hovering past. Yes. Keep that image in your mind. The balloon.